Okay, so good morning and good day, depending on where you're watching from around the globe. Today, we would like to welcome you to another episode of the Sit Down Sports, where we have a one-on-one interaction with your favorite athletes behind the spotlight. I'm your host for today, Raymond. On this episode, we have an important guest. Okay, he's one of the most exciting featherweight prospects to emerge from the African MMA scene. Originally born in Nigeria, now fighting out of South Africa, Johannesburg, under the Pandamonium FC. He was one of the, I'll say, top people to spearhead the PFL Africa's second card, having a professional record of about 8 wins and 1 loss. Out of those 8 wins, 4 came by the way of knockout or TKO, giving him a 50% finishing rate. Okay. Originally, he was signed to EFC in South Africa, but currently, right now, he is on the PFL Africa promotion. He's known as Patrick Starboy Ocheme. How are you doing today, sir? I hope the
Yeah, I'm doing
introduction,
okay, man.
I hope the introduction did justice to your credentials.
Yeah, no, you did just fine, man. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay, okay. So we'll start up this interview by trying to get to know you very well. Your nickname is Starboy. How did that come about, basically?
Um, Originally, when I came to South Africa, I came here to play professional football, and then during that period, my teammate, friends started calling me Starboy, Starboy,
Okay, Starboy.
Starboy. That's how the name started. I got it from soccer.
Okay, from soccer. Wow, well, what a deviation. Originally, aspiring football player, but now you're one of the top featherweights in MMA under the PFL banner. Okay, it says you were born in Nigeria, but now you're fighting out of Johannesburg. Um, how did that come about? Okay,
I started
how
as a
did
soccer
the
player,
transition
and now I'm a
from
mixed martial
Nigeria
artist.
all the way
They
to
actually
South
gave me that
Africa?
name
What
Starboy
what
from soccer.
inspired it?
Um, like I said earlier, the dream was to become a great soccer player,
Okay,
which is the sport. And when I pursued that career coming to South Africa, I did some few trials with some professional side like Kaizer Chiefs, University of Pretoria, they call them Amatax,
okay,
the likes of Mbombela United, Black Leopards. So my agent, the guy that was my agent at that time, Sipo Sheben,
correct.
I would say he was messing me around. And then, because he didn't want me to sign, when they want to sign me, he always asked for the impossible. And then, for some reason, the deal doesn't go through. So I got frustrated and I actually wanted to go back home. And then an opportunity came for me to actually train kickboxing, and I'm like, okay, I can do it just for self defense, but I don't think I can do well in the sport because I don't fight on the street, so I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll do well and stuff. And then that's how the journey started. So I started as a kickboxer, and then 3, 4 years later, I gave it a try in MMA, and then that's where I am right now.
Okay, so from my understanding, your original MMA journey began in South Africa, not back home in Nigeria, correct?
Yes, that's
Oh,
correct.
okay. Wow, wow. And what's the time frame, would you say? What's the time frame between the first time you ever kicked the bag or hit the pads till you currently being in the PFL? How long will you say it took you?
It's 6 years, I would say 6 years, because 5 years plus actually, because I signed with the PFL 2 years ago towards ending of 2024, and but
Okay.
then I had my first fight in 2025 at the Cannabis City there
Oh,
in
okay.
Johannesburg.
So,
Yeah.
so a total of if you had to put together, how long? How many years would you say? 4, 5?
I would say 5 years. I would say
Wow,
5 years
five
from
years.
when I started the journey of martial art and getting into the PFL. It took me about 5 years.
Wow. You know, that's if you ask a lot of people, they'll say that's a drastic rise because most people who it's just like in the soccer. I'll give an example for with the sector of soccer. Most people who reach like the Premier League are actual, well, I say they started from maybe the feeders team. There's a process basically till they get to like the big stage. But like it was, hey, okay, this soccer thing isn't working out for me. Maybe I'll give hitting people in the face an option, and it's actually paying off. Okay, that's great. It's good to know. So you currently train under Pandemonium FC. Did I get the pronunciation correct?
Yeah,
Pandemonium
Pandemonium
FC.
Fight Club. Are you correct?
Okay, okay. How's the training under the guidance of your coach? I believe his name is Dwain
Dwain Meredith.
Meredith. Yeah, yeah. Has it been
Yeah.
helpful in your development, basically? And was he originally your first coach?
About that, no, I started, like I said, I started as a kickboxer,
Kickboxer,
training out
correct?
of Malai Kickboxing based in Randfontein. But then it got to a point whereby nobody want to fight me in the country anymore. Even now, nobody want to fight me in kickboxing
Wow.
and Muay Thai,
Okay.
because they say I knocked them out, I hurt them.
Yeah.
So I was forced to fight MMA just because I love being active. Before the PFL, I was the most active fighter in the continent. Because I fight
Wow.
every month, sometimes twice every month, minimum once a month. Because I do Muay Thai, I do kickboxing, I do MMA. I like being busy. So the more I started fighting MMA, and I saw that it's getting a lot more difficult. Even though I won all of my fight with KO in the amateur when I was doing it MMA amateur, but then I know I needed a crown game, right? I needed to evolve if I want to go further in MMA.
MMA.
So I spoke to my coach about going to do some grappling there by Dwain Meredith's gym, which is at that time they were called what's the name again? Mayhem. Yeah, Mayhem Fighting System. You
Okay.
know, so and before he was working under somebody before now he created his own gym that is called
Okay.
Pandamonium that started up for 2 years now. So I when I spoke to my old coach, he didn't want me to train out of any other gym,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, how am I supposed to be one of the best strikers in the world if I don't have any ground game at all? And
Correct.
I tried to reason with him, but he refused. And I had to think for myself, because at the end of the
Understood.
day, we don't do ground at all, and I don't get fights when it
Uh,
comes to kickboxing.
yeah.
So I was actually forced to leave his gym because he said a lot of stuff. He actually kicked me out of the gym. He kicked
Wow.
me out because of he says that I'm training in other gyms and he doesn't want any of his fighters to train in another gym. So
The
I felt
gym.
like he didn't want me to grow. So and that's where I met Dwayne, and everything I know when it comes to MMA, Dwayne taught me.
Okay.
Because originally I can take credit for my striking because from the old gym we do the same drill. It's a Shidokan kickboxing gym, but we do the same thing every time. It's all about conditioning, fitness, and stuff. So I had to teach myself skill because I got footwork, and they don't encourage footwork in my old gym. They want you
Yeah.
to just go forward and take out the shot, which I feel like if I
Yeah.
keep on doing that, and the most important gift that God gave me, being able to avoid some shot and
Being
flowing with my
evasive.
foot and stuff like that. Yeah,
Evasive.
then I won't
Yeah.
be able to use it if my old coach doesn't want to accept me for the way I am.
Correct.
So I started the MMA career properly at Pandemonium Fight Club. Then along the way, there's a coach called Krulane Swat. Is my Muay
Correct.
Thai coach. So
Okay.
he's actually the person that polished my striking. So he's the only coach I would say that could actually take credit with polishing my striking. Because
Okay.
I like to help myself. So when I work on some when an idea comes into my mind, I practice it during shadow boxing, and then I take it to the bag, and then I take it to the pad, and then I take it to sparring, right? So when I
Yeah.
meet my
Yeah.
coach, because I meet him like 3 times in a week, I go to him Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, and then I go do one-on-one sparring and pad work with him on Fridays, like an hour. So when I go there and I show him, coach, look at what I'm working on. So
Yeah.
his job is to polish it and tell me, okay, this would work or this would not work. So that's how I work with my coaches because I'm somebody that I like to improve. I want to evolve more in the game. So, and there's nothing like there's this saying that says that the thing that you do not know is way more than what you know.
Yeah,
So for
correct,
the fact that
correct.
that point is there, I mean, there's always a room for improvement. So that's how I
Absolutely.
go with the journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've been looking, or prior to preparing for this interview, I was watching lots of you, I'll say, clips and all of that. It shows that you're like a creative striker. You're not like the usual one, one, two, three, four, five kind of like striker. You like to create your own. I'll say you're a creative person basically, and that translates to the I'll say the ring, or basically to the octagon. So from my understanding, originally you're a striker, right? And it's gradually you're getting acquainted to both the grappling game and the wrestling game. So how would you say that has translated in your, I would say, previous fights and your fights in the future? How would you say that has been translated?
My previous fight was a fight against Sankara, because that was the battle of the best striker in the continent, in my opinion.
Okay,
Because I believe that if I want to be the best striker, one of the best strikers in the world, I have to be the king in my continent.
absolutely.
And so far, based on what I've accomplished in the world of kickboxing and what I've been doing so far in the world of MMA, even though I'm still new in MMA, I would
Okay,
say that I'm the best striker, right?
okay,
But there, it still needs to be put on paper because I do need a PFL belt. I need to become an MMA champion because I don't have any. All my six titles are not. There's no MMA involved in it. So for in my last fight, I had a chance of taking my opponent down and controlling him because I knew I'm better than him on the ground and also in stand up. But I chose to keep the fight standing because of I said before the fight that it's the better of the best strikers in the continent.
okay,
So I made sure that I dominate him in round one and round two. The plan was to finish him in round three, but due to the unfortunate situation that I encountered, before the fight about the weight cut and stuff. So
hmm,
my coaches, they advised me to be safe. They said, you've won two rounds now. You don't have to prove any point anymore. Just go there and just stay away from him and then just get the result done. And I was like, coach, but I would like to finish this guy. They said to me, don't be stubborn. Just do what
absolutely.
we tell you to do. And I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. That's why the fight ended like that. But then the whole world still haven't seen my grappling because
Okay, yeah,
people they believe that I don't know anything on the ground,
on the
and
ground.
many have tried to take me down. They've all failed, because I believe that for as long as I'm fit, there isn't anybody that will take me down. And even if you do take me down, you won't keep me down. I'll get up.
Absolutely.
So it's just the issue about me bringing that aspect of my career into the fighting. So, but then I'm still waiting for that one person that will force me to show my grappling. And because I can strike, I can do takedown, I can control a person on the ground. My transitioning from stand up to grappling, it's actually amazing in my opinion. And my coaches, they are happy with it. Just that I haven't shown the world that aspect of my career.
Absolutely. I totally understand. So, you're competing currently with the PFL, right? But originally you were competing with EFC, which I believe was one of like the top, or is one of the top promotions in South Africa. How is it for you, or how do you feel with the transition from EFC to PFL? Like,
When
what's
I go to
the
the
go on, sorry, apologies.
when I go to the EFC, my goal was one: go
Okay.
there, build my record, and then go to PFL or UFC. That was the plan. Originally I wanted to become a EFC world champion,
Okay.
lightweight, before I go further with the journey because there's actually not a lot of money there at the EFC, right? And then it's
Okay.
a big promotion. Like you said, it's well known in Africa before the PFL Africa. But
Correct.
then the caliber of fighters they have there is not the same as the caliber of fighters they have at the PFL because now it's about levels now.
Yeah.
So they are the EFC. Like I don't think there was any fight I was even worried about. And because I know that it doesn't matter who they put in front of me, doesn't matter what you do, I'm supposed to win. That's the mindset that I have. If
Okay.
I say I want to be one of the best strikers in the world, so I didn't really see the promotion as more of that competitive for me. I was just using it to prepare myself prior to when God gave me a better opportunity. And when
I
the PFL came knocking, then I knew now is when the job actually truly begins.
begins.
And because now I know that we're going to be getting the very best fighters from Africa. Some of us are based in other country. Like the last PFL we had, there was a fighter from Sweden. You know, the champion, the Nigerian guy, the one that won the featherweight division, is based in Sweden as well. You know, we got fighters that are based in America. You know, the one that are based in the UK. So like we have African fighters that are based in all around the world, but then we are fighting under the flag of our own home country. You know,
Oh,
so
their own
and
country.
I knew that joining the PFL, and it's a different stage for me now. It means I'm one stage ahead of the way where I was coming from, which was the EFC. You know, so I'm not expecting things to get easy, but I'm actually looking forward to making all of my fight look easy going
Absolutely.
forward.
Absolutely. And what's your opinion about PFL Africa, basically them spearheading or pushing forwards the MMA community in Africa? Well, what's your opinion about it as a
Uh,
fighter fighting under their banner?
it's a life-changing opportunity for all of the athletes that are competing or that are signed under the PFL Africa, because we get to experience the same feeling as those that are fighting in the world, you know, in the PFL Global or the UFC, whatever. Because now you get to fight in a proper promotion. You know, a
Okay.
promotion whereby you could see that they say dreams, right? It's for free to dream,
Absolutely.
right? But then all of the experience I had at the PFL last year was like I was living in my dream. But that was a dream country. So it's life changing for me. And that changed me to become even a much better person. You know, so what the PFL Africa is doing for us local fighters is actually giving us a chance of actually using our God-given talent to change our whole family lives, you know, or to actually achieve or accomplish whatever we think or we believe that we could possibly achieve. You know, so it's not something that should be taken lightly. Some they want to fight just for money, but why some of us we're doing it because we love what we do. We're doing it for the passion. We're doing it for the legacy that we would like to set. You know, going forward. You know, and then at least knowing that you can compete in an event like the PFL Africa, it means that there's still hope for us to probably be at the PFL main promotion, you know, so that we could
Absolutely.
actually get to become a PFL world champion one day or a MMA world champion, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I look at it, in my opinion, the PFL Africa is a stepping stage to like the biggest stage, and it's much more larger exposure for athletes basically within the African spectrum. Okay, sorry to bring this up. On your loss, okay, you have one loss recorded to
Yeah.
your name. Sure, it came as a result of a KO. What would you say that experience taught you? What would you say happened, and what would you say you learned from that experience, and how that translates to your future fights or your fights currently, basically?
Um, that fight really shaped me for the better,
Okay.
and because I didn't just lose to anybody, right? I lost against a guy that was 21 kilos heavier than me at that time,
Oh,
and
okay.
then we I've never lost in my weight class, like never,
Absolutely.
you
Okay.
know. So we fought in welterweight, and I was a small. Then I was walking around 79 kg, and I had to just got 2 kilos to fight, and I lost against Eliasa Kupanza. He's somebody that is well-rounded and is very famous, and he's known. He used to be the boogeyman of Brave, and now is currently at the PFL as well right now. And that fight, he's somebody that knocks people out round one, right? And then I went into that fight and I beat him round one, and then I took the fight to round three. And the very first shot that landed on me, because he only caught me twice. The
Okay.
first one cut me here, the other one broke my jaw into two. So
Wow.
and then yeah, and then he was like he was even scared because a lot of people thought he was gonna knock me out in a minute, and my
Okay.
skill level was nothing compared to the way it is now. I have 0 grounds at that time. You know, I was just because I was more worried about him taking me down, but then he couldn't actually cause any damage to me on the ground. You know, he was only able to break my jaw. So he advised me after the fight. He was like, Patrick, my bro, if you can cut down to lightweight, believe you me, nobody would beat you on this earth. You know, and I believed him. And since then, I've won 6 fights in a row: four in lightweight, one featherweight, and one catchweight. You know, so and that fight actually did every time it rings in my head. And knowing fully well that I faced somebody that could have killed me. You know,
Okay.
somebody that nobody wants to fight. But I was able to stand in front of him and actually dominate him in the whole 5 minutes. and he couldn't even touch me. He was even saying, "Bro, you're fast," And round two, even though he took me down, I got up, he took me down again, and then I didn't have a grand coach, and I didn't want to use a lot of energy to just stand up. I'm
Stand
just
up.
gonna
Yeah.
get tired, and it was gonna get his way.
Technical.
Yeah, so I was just holding him, for survival until the round ended. Then round three, the very first shot, he broke my jaw. So since that day, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I'm not one to ask for favors, right? So it doesn't matter who they put in front of me, regardless of how good you are, regardless of your record, regardless of what you do, you're not gonna win.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's one thing I could say.
that's the mindset. So, in your opinion, you say the loss was necessary, right? You needed to
It
learn
was a
certain things.
necessarily lesson to be learned.
Okay, okay, okay. So at 5'11" with a 76-inch reach, you're unusually long for like a featherweight, right? Not many fighters take advantage of, I'll say, their God-given abilities in terms of like futures. How would you say you adapt those gifts in like your bouts, in, for example, your striking and like you said, in the development of your grappling and your wrestling? How would you say you take advantage of your attributes in terms of like your physicality? How would you say that translates to the octagon in general or the ring? But at this point in time, we're talking about
Um,
the octagon.
for starters, I'm somebody that believes in God, right?
Okay,
And I believe that where there's a will, there's a way, right?
okay,
And then I also appreciate the all the talent that God gave me. Like the footwork, the reach, the IQ, the vision, because I could see. I feel like mostly all of my opponents they're super slow because I could just see it. I could see them before they, it's like I know what you're thinking.
okay,
And I got a really good reach for somebody of my height, and
correct.
most people don't realize that, right? And if you notice in my fight, I throw a lot of jab, a lot. And because
Yeah,
you were sure that I wouldn't touch you, but because of the speed in my hand and the reach advantage that I always have, I always land. So throwing the jab, using my it's just to use my reach to gauge to see how close you are to me or how far you are to me. If I can touch you with my jab, it means my cross can land. It means my kick can land. So there are different ways that I actually because God gave me a lot of talent, man, besides just my reach. I'm very fast, you know, and I got good footwork, and I'm still working on the footwork. My coach always says that I know how to balance transition properly from my feet to my hands, especially when I grapple, and when I do the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and stuff. So like, that's something that I won't say now because obviously we are online because I don't want to
okay,
make
oh,
it a little bit
absolutely,
easier for people
absolutely.
to be able
Yeah,
to analyze me and plan and plan for me in the future because I mostly fight people according to what they bring to the table. I do my own game plan. I like having plan A, B, C, D, and E, just in
okay,
case. But the most important thing is how you strike against me. If you want to grapple with me, I have a plan for you. If you want to strike with me, I got a plan for you. So everything all depends on what you bring to the table. Like I always say, I love dancing. So it depends on my dancing partner. If you dance properly, I'll dance with you. If you don't want to dance, it's also your choice. So I don't want
absolutely,
to give a lot of details when it comes to
absolutely.
my attributes and stuff.
So in one word I took out of this, you're an adaptive fighter, right? Regardless of the game plan, regardless of what your coach says. Don't get me wrong, you stick to the game plan of your coach and the game plan you guys made over the course of the fight week. But it could change once you step your foot into the, I'll say, octagon.
Octagon,
Given,
yeah.
yeah, sure. Given, I'll say the response of your dance partner, like you said, it takes two to tango. So if your dance partner goes contrary to the game plan, you have to adapt to fix, I'll say, the deficiencies maybe you find out over the course of the fight. Okay. So
Yeah.
as a Nigerian fighter competing in South Africa, do you ever feel a sense of representing something bigger for Nigeria? Or for Africa.
The goal, right? For starters, it's about my family. That's the
Absolutely.
first one. And then I'm a Nigerian by nationality, by birth.
Okay.
So it means I'm fighting for my tribe, because I'm from Benue State,
Okay.
Idoma boy, so I'm doing it. I want to be the first fighter coming out of not just Nigeria, because we got the likes of Israel Adesanya, we got the likes of Kamaru Usman, We got some other good fighters that are from Nigeria as well. But then I would like to be the first Idoma fighter coming out of Nigeria, based in South Africa, to do the impossible. Because for starters, age is not on my side, right?
Okay.
Even though I'm on my prime right now. But then I'm giving myself like 5 years from now to achieve everything that needs to be achievable in the sport for myself. And the rest will just be to cement my legacy and stuff like that. So I really want to inspire a lot of people. People from a background whereby from your family baseline, there's nobody doing any particular sport, Like my family, I'm the only one fighting. And I was the only one playing soccer, because they're not more into sport. One of my sisters, she used to play soccer in high school. The other one, she plays long tennis. The other one, she's good at swimming. My brothers, they don't do sport at all. It's just me. So I want to inspire a lot of people to the point that whenever you wake up and you listen to my story, doesn't matter what you want to do. You want to go into a business, you want to learn a particular handwork, you want to go into you go into sport, you want to do whatever you want to do. If you listen to my story, I want you to say that if this guy out of no wealth, right?
Okay.
Out of no foundation from the fighting world from his country, he came to another land to pursue something else, and then now he transitioned from soccer into fighting. If he could be doing well, like every fight, I want people to see an improvement for my last fight. That's my game plan. So if I could do that, it means that I should be able to convince people positively. I feel like I'm doing God's work like that. I want to represent the country in a way that even when I die, people will be like, no, there's this fighter called Patrick Ocheme. He was indeed a great fighter.
Right.
He took Nigerian then from nowhere to that level. Because remember, Israel have done so much already for the country. Kamaru's Khan
Absolutely.
also have done so much, for the country already. So I am not competing with them because they
Yeah,
also
just
play an
a
important role
role.
in my career. I'm
Oh,
not competing with them, but I want to do something different. Israel is also one of the best strikers in the world, right? But I want to bring something different to the table. I want to be known as a guy that can be in front of anybody without being touched. You get my
okay.
point. It sounds impossible, but I want to do it because I
No, no,
believe it's doable.
it doesn't sound impossible.
You
You've
know,
already been doing it.
you
So
know,
basically,
because
yeah,
there are levels in the game, right? And the
absolutely.
level that I'm at right now, I believe I could still keep that, because I'm a realist. I don't just want to say something. I want to say something that I know that I could possibly do until I'm proven otherwise. So that's just the one thing I'm praying for God to accomplish.
Okay. So the PFL Africa's tournament has been fast growing, right? From your opinion, where do you see African MMA in, let's say, the next 5 years from now?
If
And
the PFL keep
apologies, what role do you think you play in shaping that story?
For starters, I would like to apologize to all of my fans and family friends, the ones that believed in me, that believed that I was going to be the first PFL featherweight African champion. But
Okay,
I believe it's God's plans.
absolutely.
And what's not yours is not yours, and what's done is done, right? So because the plan was to go in there, dominate everybody, become the champion, right, and then pass a very important positive message to the world. But then unfortunately I couldn't achieve that. But I believe that I still have a chance of doing that this year, right? And then the PFL advocate they're actually doing quite a lot. Just only 1 year, you saw the difference they made in the country. I know how much of my friends and teammates and colleagues that till today they're still talking about the main event, the PFL in Johannesburg, because they're like, thank you, Petri, for giving us the privilege to witness something so beautiful because the crowd was amazing. The promotion itself was amazing. So imagine if that event in Johannesburg could touch lives, could touch people in a positive way. And because I've seen a lot of fighters that have said to me, "Bet we never thought it was possible to be in that level. But seeing you, that we know that we've trained with you, and now we've seen how far you're growing and how far you've come, it
Okay,
means that there's still hope for us.
okay,
So imagine
absolutely,
if I could do this for just a small amount of people in my neighborhood. What about those around the continent? You get my point.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
and now the PFL now, they did this year. They started from Cape Town, they came to Johannesburg, they went to Rwanda, they came to Benin, and now they're coming back again to South Africa again, which I believe they're also going to go to other African countries as well, right? So if they can keep this up, I think 5 years is a lot, man. I feel like 2 more years from now, if they could still, because they're growing, because the card that I saw now, it's amazing. You know, the fight card they're having now on the 10th of April, it's really, really amazing, you know. And
Absolutely.
if that, which I believe is going to be a huge success, right? Already, you could already see that it's making a positive impact in the continent already. Other
Absolutely.
people, they can't wait for the PFL to come to their country so that they could brag and say, yes, I was once there at the PFL event. Because, you know, they say, if you cannot go to Rome, if Rome cannot come to you, you must go to
Go
Rome.
to
Or how
Rome.
do they say that saying, right?
Yeah.
So if people cannot afford to travel, right, to go to participate, to watch an event like the PFL Africa, but then the PFL Africa get to come to them in their homeland, that's a life changing. You know, that's something that most people would never imagine that they will one day go in such event and bear witness to the greatness. So I feel like the PFL Africa is really going to change a lot of lives, man. I just pray that God continue to provide for them so that they'll be able to have more funds to be able to host this event. Because I'm sure from now to 2, 3 more years, they're not going to make any profit, because it's all about setting the foundation, you know.
First
But
off,
then
yeah.
when at the right time, when they start earning more money from it, then the promotion should grow even bigger.
Okay. Okay, we're about to like close up the interview, so you could I understand you have trainings shortly soon. So in one word, right? If you're to give an advice to viewers or upcoming fighters who want to also follow your path in, let's say, Africa or globally, um, in one word, making it snappy as possible, what would you say would be the best advice to them?
When you go to training, I would say you should focus on basics, because a lot of people have forgot about that. It's very important that you always work on your basics and then believe, listen to your coach, keep on working hard, and you must also pray. Because with if you preparation plus opportunity equals to breakthrough, right? So if
Absolutely.
you train properly, when I say train properly, you must stick to the basics. It's very important. And then you must always stay fit and active so that when God give you an opportunity, you know, like getting to the, because nobody thought the PFL was going to come to Africa, but there we are. The PFL is in Africa now, right? So if you prepare well and you make sure you improve every time, because it's not just about winning your fight, it's about how you win the fight and how you leveling up from the previous one. So if you can train hard and work hard and pray hard, there's no way you're not going to achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Absolutely. Okay, viewers,
The
you've heard
positive
him.
mindset.
You've heard him. You train, you pray, and hard work, and stick into basics. So, Starboy, do you have, if you don't mind, could you list out maybe Instagram handles, TikTok handles, and how people could follow your journey, basically?
On Instagram, you can follow me at Oche the Beast Patrick.
Okay.
I got two accounts. Yeah, Oche the Beast Patrick, or you can just type Patrick Ocheme 77 to give it to my main Instagram account. On TikTok, it's Oche the Beast Starboy. And
Okay.
then yeah, on Facebook, it's my name, Patrick
Okay.
Ocheme, or still Oche. When you type Oche the Beast Patrick, you're gonna see all of my handles.
Okay. It's a pleasure speaking to you, Starboy. Let's let you go back to training. You have a PFL belt to grab. Okay. It's a pleasure
Yeah.
speaking to the viewers. Once more, it's Raymond. This is the Sit Down Sports signing out.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it, man. Respect.
Same. Yeah.
Don't forget follow us for more content.